me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's good. Hope a few people have got over that dirty result yesterday. I think the question I ask a couple of people here and now is, was anybody really too bothered about it? Or as bothered as you should be about it? Even though I thought we'd get a draw out of it, I wasn't surprised. At no time did I see us scoring a goal in that game. Just the same as a lot of other games, we just did not look a threat in any means or manner, no matter how much possession we had, no matter how much people think possession is controlling a game. They're all just doing the same shit to us now. All of them. Sit back, have the ball, because they know exactly what we're going to do. Oh dear, being a Spurs supporter. But the question that I'm asking, where do we actually go now? Where do we go? I'm officially Ange out now. Maybe it's not the best attitude to have. Maybe it's going a bit harsh on him, some would say. But for me, he's got to go. He's part of the problem we got there because he's not adapting like a lot of people have just asked him to do. Just adapt your bloody game, for God's sake. And my man, he's just not willing to do it. He's not going to do it. It's not going to happen. So the problems ain't going to change. The players they're not doing it, or they're not good enough to do it. So if he's not going to adapt and he's not going to change, he's got to go. The results speak for themselves. His history at Spurs over the past year and a bit speaks for itself. My man's got to go. But then where do we go? We're back to square one again. I really wanted Ange to work. Do I really want to get rid of a manager again and start again? No, I don't. But this one's just not going to work. You can see it a mile off. So again, he's got to go. And we start again. What would be the point on leaving it 3 years? Another 6 transfer windows? where he goes buying players like Johnson, Werner, Odebert, whatever, Solomon, list goes on. And then we have to get rid of all that crap on top of the crap that we've already bought again after getting rid of a lot of shit. To me, it will only get worse. I mean, at the moment, at best, I would say we look like, I don't even think we look like a top 10 club. I think we're actually getting to that point now where we are actually going to struggle to even be in the lower clubs as such, because everybody knows how to counter Ange's tactics. Just sit back, just wait. Spurs aren't good enough to break people down. There's going to be teams that we can break down, you would think. You know, like smaller teams like Ipswich and stuff like that. We should be able to do that. But I think we are actually going to start struggling against the lesser teams as such to actually get somewhere. The players look like they're losing confidence. One or two of them still giving it their all. I'd say them two is Van der Ven and Porro. I'd say they are the two most reliable players we got at this moment in time. Son, you just don't know whether he's coming or going anymore. And I've said this for ages, for me, he's not captain material, but whatever turns you on at the end of the day, each their own. Where do we actually go? So if the manager does go, what manager do we go for? We all know what will happen. Unless Levy's got some sort of plan, which he usually does have plans, but over the past two he hasn't. We do know Ryan Mason's going to be stepping in. Is that going to make things better? Not for me. So do we even get rid of Ange? Yeah. Again, I repeat it again. My man's got to go. We have to find a manager that, even if it's for the short time, for the rest of this season, can save this season. Because for me, this season is already well on its way of being over. Yeah, all right, early start. We go for a run where we win 8 games, draw, lose 2 games, whatever. We can get back up table. There's no two ways about that. But with Ange, I just don't see it happening, because there's going to be other teams better than us, better managed than us, who are going to be doing exactly the same thing. But we got to do something. I mean, to the point, I'll get to a point in there. I'll say hello to a few people first. Daryl, how you doing, mate? Hope everything's good for you. Mid-table, I guess. It is looking that way. It is looking that way. If something don't fix, we are looking like, I thought we'd finish 7th or 8th. It's looking more like we're going to finish between 10th and 13th. That is how bad I think we look. And Wobski, hi Dan, hi people, big up to you, mate. And Wobski also saying here, Agent Ange now has to go. Sorry, it's pathetic. It is. And Sue Smith, hope you're good. Ange can go where he likes, as long as it's far away from here. I don't think he'll get another big job after this. He'll get his payment. I'm not saying he'll totally quit as a manager, but I don't think he'll get another big job after this one. I think he's blatantly showing that he just cannot, he can't deal with a bigger club, a bigger league. I mean, people think it's disrespectful when I turn around and say he's only managed in Scotland, Japan, and Australia. And he's now, what, 57, 58, give or take a year, I'm not 100% sure. So if he's that good, why has it taken him this long to actually get noticed? I don't know. But I'm not saying he'd be totally out of football, but I don't think you'll see him at another bigger club as such. I mean, can we even call ourselves a bloody big club? It's only because of the money. If we want to go buy cups and everything, then I don't even think we have to be a right to be rated in the top 30 in the world. What cups have we won recently? What have we done it with anything? Why is it I always get a phone call whenever I go live? Without a doubt. It's like people watch it and do it on purpose. But yeah, Mark, big up Dan in the chat. Big up to you too, mate. And Tony Rodriguez, top man. Big up Dan in the chat. Ange out, Levy out, Enoch out. And Tony also saying with Sue, spot on. Jazz, hope everything's good for you, mate. The only correct answer is hell in a hand basket. It looks that way. Detrex, big up my brother, big up to you too, mate. And enough is enough. Get him out. He's worse than Nuno. Tell you what, mate, as soon as you start, give me 15 minutes. I'll send you the link now. There we go. Yeah, give me 15 minutes, mate, and then just jump on. You're more than welcome. So, with Howling, Mad Murdoch, big up Dan, all the chat, big up to you too, mate. And Anthony Clark, AFC, always on here, always fair, but you know where you can stick that last bit of your comment. Big up Dan, hope that wasn't too painful for you. Do you know what was most painful about yesterday's? You weren't even good. You were bang average and you just played with us. That is how I felt Arsenal done it. They just basically played with us and just waited for the time. They knew they'd get a set piece. They knew they'd get it up down the wing or something, and they just waited. They took in everything that we threw at them, which we didn't throw a lot of them, as all we had was control. And they just said, thank you, come again, and snapped it up. That's how I looked at it happened. I mean, a lot of people were preaching on how good Timberland was. Yeah, he looked good, but I don't think he was as spectacular as people said. I mean, when you got Johnson in front of you, I would look good as a left back. But he had a good game. There were chances that we could have. The problem is we're getting chances to make chances, but we don't do it. We've got a chance to make a good chance, to make something of it, and we do nothing. We look like there is just no coordination in the team. No imagination. No, I mean, even Maddison, he just looks like he's lost at the best of times. But I have an opinion on that. I think there's reasons to that. But no one on that team looks absolutely solid, bar Porro and Van der Ven. Nobody. I mean, the goalkeeper, I'm actually getting scared with him as well. And I was one who bigged him up. I watched him play in Italy. He was good last season. He was good. He's a brilliant shot stopper. But ever since they sussed him out for his set pieces, my man is not looking good. And he looked scared yesterday at some points. And I don't want my goalkeeper being like that. He even admitted his problem. But I think he actually looks worse. I think Vicario actually looks worse now on the set pieces than he did. A lot of people were saying you can blatantly see we fixed the set pieces and that. No. We played Leicester, Everton, Newcastle. Now we played the team that are good at set pieces. I mean, you can put the blame on several ways. If you want to be really technical about it, Martinelli, that was actually a foul on Romero. The rules do say 2 hands push on the back is a foul. But for me, that weren't even a push. That was a shove. That was nothing. For me, that shouldn't even be a foul. But by the rules say it should have been. But bollocks, no. If you're a top world-class defender, as they say, you're in a World Cup winning team and everything else, you should be able to take that shit. But the rules do say. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse. We could have played that game for 48 hours yesterday and we still wouldn't have bloody scored a goal. That's how we looked. We just do not look any sort of threat. And Howlin saying big up Detrex. Detrex saying big up to you too. And Matty, big up to you too, mate. And he's also saying here, has Ange got to be worried if we lose to Coventry? Ange should be worried now, not just about losing to Coventry. If we lose to Coventry, I said, along with others, that this game with Arsenal, is it the beginning or is it the beginning of the end? Beginning of the end for Ange? What one is it? Because if he would have won that game, that would have won a few hearts over without a doubt, and maybe got the players a bit more perked up and then go from there. But no, he's lost a massive game for us in no different way to how he's lost other games. And wow, isn't it mad how quick this Tottenham fan base turns? Now I can vouch for myself and a few others that we've been saying the same thing between 9 and 6 months. Some of us 6 months, some of us 9 months, but we've been saying the same thing. Others have been saying, no. He's going to change. He's going to adapt. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Give it time. Give it everything. I understand things don't happen in 5 minutes, but you don't get that time in the Premiership, in the Premier League. It's an old habit of mine. I still keep calling it bloody Premiership, but you don't get that time. Chelsea never used to give people that time. You either got it right there and then or you were gone. So that's what winners do, basically. but we're definitely not winners, are we? And with the stuff he talks about, he does himself no favours. He shot himself in the feet. This man, he's just frustrating. At times, you just wish he would have just kept his mouth shut. And I don't think he'd been half the trouble that he's actually in. He's pulled it on himself. And George, big up to you too, mate. Michael, big up, fella. How we doing? Hope all's well. I hope you're good too, mate. Liverpool supporter friend of mine. I mean, that wasn't a good result in Nottingham Forest either, was it? Had to have that dig there. And then Jazz, he's officially worried when Levy is. Paul, big up to you too, mate. Cold shot at Detrex Kane. Glad you're part of the Tuchel in train. We need to grow more. I agree. Out of all the managers I've been looking at, which is a few on here, he looks like the most legit one. But I'll come to that. And Mike, smash a like, people. Thank you. And Paul, again, not surprised, but still pissed off. I don't even know if I'm pissed off, mate, if I tell you the truth. I think frustrated is more the word than pissed off. If you want to call them the same thing, I don't know. But I think I'm more frustrated and pissed off that I'm not pissed off, if that makes any sense to talk to you. I think it sort of just sounds weird, but I think I'm actually more pissed off that I ain't actually that pissed off. I'm more pissed off that when they scored the goal, I was like, what did I expect? I should have been cursing the TV. I should have wanted to throw my beer at it. Not that I would, but I should have wanted to. I didn't. I was just like, Spurs happens. We say shit happens. Spurs happens. And Jazz just saying this game plan is established in concrete. And Mark, big up to you too, mate. It's Bobbins people and Matty saying yes, yes, yes. Michael, sack him now. Mapen, we might ask that to Axel Rose. Yeah, that was part of the joke a bit as such. And Mark Taylor, as you say, mate, crap. Yep, total crap is what we have been. Yeah, we can sack Ange, but we still have Levy. That's the other thing. We know where it all comes from. We know it comes from the top. We know the main problem is Levy. But as far as I'm concerned, Levy does not control what goes on that pitch. Levy does not tell those wing backs to invert. Levy does not tell that team to sit on the halfway line at all times. So you can only blame Levy for so much. When it comes to what happens on the pitch, that's the players and that's Ange. And Ange tactics, for me, are the biggest problem. I know there's a lot of people out there who say the players are more of a problem. Yep, they're just not doing their job properly. I'll agree. But for me, it's the tactics. So that one comes down to the manager. But until Levy, until something happens to him, let's just not wish nothing, but shit happens. Spurs happens again. If it did, I can't say I'd actually care. Yeah, until that happens to him, my man ain't going nowhere unless someone comes in with a 6 billion bid, and I don't see that happening either. And Jazz, what you're saying here, little to no talent in attack, system can't overcome player limitations and lack of tactics. Exactly. I don't even think he knows it. I don't even think the team actually know his plan A properly, let alone his plan B. And Paul 123, what a crap window, Gray and co. All that money. He don't play them. Clearly, they ain't as good as he thought. We had this debate last night on Tottenham away. Again, people got their own opinions with it. But if Archie Gray, and he's only 18, but we go and pay 40 mil for him when we could have paid 40 mil for a player that is ready to play in our first 11 now, but we go and get some young fella that Ange don't even pick. I mean, for me, he's only on the subs bench because we got no one else. And that's where it's frustrating, to say the least. And cold shot, imagine if Tuchel comes and says, nah, bro, half these guys need to go. Levy, make it happen. Yeah. I'll come to Tuchel. I think he's without a job. It'd be easy money for him. I don't think he'd give a toss whether he goes at the end of the season or not, but I think he would be someone we could bring in now that could stabilise us. So I'm going to bring in good mate of mine. Always good mate on here. Detrex, how we doing, mate?
Good, how are you? How's everything doing?
I'm not pissed off about it yesterday, like I said.
Yeah, I'm not. I predicted a loss, so I'm not. Personally, I'm not mad. It is what it is.
I mean, so where do we go? Where do we go now? I mean, I think a lot of people are starting to turn now. I mean, it is shocking how quick Spurs turn. I mean, even the ones that were fighting tooth and nail, no, give him all the chances. He needs more time and that. You're even starting to hear a lot of those people turn around and say, I'm not Ange out, like Savva said it, I'm not Ange out, but it's starting to turn very quickly. And me and you both spoke about this off of here. I also mentioned it on here that you watch this Arsenal game. If it don't go right, people will turn very quickly because we're known for it, aren't we?
For me, the best solution going forward is just sack him. If you don't want to change, it's within his rights. Like, clearly you're not the right person to take us to the promised land. That's just my personal opinion. You had so many chances. Even last year, you never changed your system, never changed your tactics, and we still lost so many games. And
That cost us 12th place.
It cost us
Sorry, mate,
fourth place. And the fact that we won one game against the top 10 since December 2023,
Yep.
it's shocking.
It's terrible, isn't it? I mean, that's the sort of thing you'd expect off someone like, I don't even say a mid-table team. I'd say that's off someone that you'd almost expect to have a relegation fight.
If I'm not mistaken, even Mason beat a top 10 team. And he's a worse manager.
Yeah. Oh,
I think he did. I think he beat Aston Villa, which were in
That's
the top
bad,
10.
isn't it? It's bad, isn't it?
I'm not even joking. As much as you see my problem with this fan base. Everyone turned on Nuno, and I'm gonna be culpable. Even me, I turned against him. But if you look at what he's done better than Ange, and he's doing better than and he's doing better at Forest than he's doing than us we're doing at the moment.
Done it.
It's not like you just started. Like, sometimes when you just start, it takes time. You want to improve. You just want to see like how does the league and everything. But you've been here like almost 2 years. It's gonna be 2 years. Like, what more do you need to do? Like, it's not hard to predict. You cannot play two center backs and not have a DM.
I agree with this one here, what Matt is saying. He's so bloody naive and arrogant.
It's not naive.
I don't agree. Yeah, I don't think it's naive.
He's naive.
I think he's that arrogant and stubborn. No, I don't think he's naive.
It's
sure, it can't be naive anymore. It is stubborn and arrogant.
He's stubborn. You see in life, Dan, like, us, man, like, in general, we are stubborn. That's just the nature of us. But sometimes when someone says something, you might listen and try to improve. He doesn't even do that. The media questions your tactics and the way we concede goals, and then you attack them. How about you improve? You show them that actually it's not my fault, the personnel's not good enough. Well, just show us. Even Jose, he's like, oh, everyone was telling me I want to play Joe Rodon, stop playing Eric Dyer, stop playing Sanchez. And he played three at the back. He even showed us, like, clearly we don't have the personnel.
Well, look, the thing with all this, before I bring everybody into it, is something that got said yesterday by one of the best players we've ever had, Glenn Hoddle, literally begging, in his words, please, Ange, please change your system of this inverted wing backs. They have been sussed. Too many people blocking up the middle and trying to play, what was it he said, through the eye of the needle. He's even got Glenn Hoddle turning around and saying to him now, mate, fix the fuck up. Sort out those inverted wing backs. That is one of the biggest problems. Even Glenn Hoddle is now going live and saying, if you don't sort it, mate, you're baked potato. See you later. You're gone.
Even what's his name, Jimmy Carragher, that always protects Ange and defends him, he even said, like, he needs to change or it's gonna hit him in the face, because this is your future. If this doesn't work, you're not going to get a better job in the Prem. Nobody's going to take a punt on you. It's never going to happen. So either you show you can change, you can manage the squad, or you should just leave.
Well, when even someone like Glenn Hoddle comes in and tells you about it, you know something's not going right, don't you? Anyway, you all right, Stel? James, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm all right. How you doing? How's Detrex? How's James? Everyone all right? How's the chat? Big up.
You look happy.
I think it's just the point that I think a few people are more pissed off that they're not pissed off. That's how I feel anyway. I'm literally more wound up that it just really didn't bother me that much in the aspect. So, going with what I've just said with Glenn Hoddle, with what he's gone and said, surely this has got to tell Ange something, hasn't it? When someone like Glenn Hoddle comes and says something like that to you and does it live on TV or radio, whatever it was he done it, surely that's got to tell him something, isn't it?
I just don't understand him, to be honest. Like I said to you earlier, Dan, I can't be Ange out until Levy goes, because I don't think anyone's going to get a fair crack at the whip until Levy goes. But he is doing everything in his power to turn all the blame on himself. The words that he's saying in the press conferences, this game's no bigger than any other game. That's all well and good saying it if you're managing Man City, because no big game, no rivalries. Man City win every game. They have to win every game. I mean, like Savva said, we don't win games at all. So we need to start focusing on winning any game, you know. But I was listening to a few chats this morning and while I was working, and I'm just sort of I just don't understand the in denial. Like, it's all well and good, but if you've got it wrong, like I said in Stel's chat, it's almost like, yeah, I'm wrong and I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to fuck it. I'm sticking with this. I'm wrong. Who cares? It's like he's got no shame, no front. He just doesn't care. Is
that stubbornness? Is it naive? Is it arrogance?
I was thinking earlier, and I thought, is it stubbornness? Is it naive, or is it intelligent? Is he playing to get sacked? Because let's face it, if he's going to get sacked, he ain't going to need another job. He's fairly old. He wants to retire. He always talks about retiring. If he gets sacked and paid out, like, let's be honest, he'll never need another job in his life.
That's what I said earlier. Yeah. I mean, I can't see him getting another big job after this anyway, because I think he's blatantly showing that he cannot manage a bigger team in a bigger league. So with him, if he walks out the job, he doesn't get his pay. He doesn't get his pay, does he? But
no,
if he gets sacked from it, he obviously gets his pay leave, doesn't he? So that's going to be about 2-3 million in his bank. And if someone can't set their life up with that much money, I think they got issues.
I think it'd be a lot more than that.
No, I think it'll only be.
No,
I mean, how long was his contract? Yeah, I think it'd be about 3 or 4 million, because he's on, compared to a lot of managers, he's on tuppence pay basically, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not making a lot.
So, where do we go then? I mean, look, 4 points in 4 games. What is it? 44 points in 32 games, is it? Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Players he's bought. What is it? 3 transfer windows now. 22 wins. Yep. And I think something like 15, 16, 17 of them, whatever it is.
6 attackers.
But this is where
the bottom 10.
This is where I think he's hit that self-destruct button, because if he said nothing, everybody would have said Gray is a Levy signing, Bergvall Levy signing, Dominic Solanke panic buy from Levy right at the end of the transfer. But he come out and went, no, I'm in charge. These are my players. I wanted him. If he said nothing, he would have had the full fan backing, because everyone would have said they're Levy buys. This ain't Ange wanting the squad. But he's come out and just shot himself in the foot.
James, I cannot believe in my lifetime, since I've been supporting Spurs, Daniel Levy saying, I'm going to pay 40 million for 18-year-old, and let me go get Timo Werner that's on 180,000 a week. For me, that's impossible to believe you would say that.
Yeah, but what he's probably thinking is he's no outlay up front, and he's saved all of that money on wages, so it doesn't look like he's lost any money. He's saved so much in wages, no upfront cost. So either way, he's probably looking at the balance sheet. Right, it's come down 42 million a year with Timo Werner in there. So there's the results and the spreadsheets say.
Honestly, I've looked at the wages. Manu Kone was cheaper, and he's on cheaper wages at Roma than Archie Gray. So wouldn't it make more sense to go buy him?
Well, no, because everybody's talking about Archie Gray being the next fucking Zinedine Zidane. So that's why Levy probably thought, oh, yeah, this is it. I'm going to grab him. Everyone's going to want him. 15 million for Rodon going the other way. That's 25 million. Like, it's a bargain, isn't it? If he becomes his full potential.
Yeah, he's not even playing.
So, quick question here then, off Jay. Hi Dan, what are your thoughts about Romero being unwell and paying for his own plane ticket? I mean,
He's been a bitch.
To me, it looks like I think Romero's head's already turned, and even if he plays shit at Spurs, people know he's good, and as long as he still plays good international, I think he'll get a big buy. I think his head's already gone personally. I mean, what do you three think on that?
I don't see. Sure, it should not be right that the player pays for his own plane ticket, but you just lost the North London derby, and now you're talking about plane tickets. Like,
for me, I think it's stupid that the club wouldn't want to give him a ticket anyway to protect one of their best assets. Let's suppose something goes wrong, and we have seen that sort of stuff go wrong. They've lost 70, 80, 90 million pounds of pure profit. So the fact that they're like, right, make your own way back, not that there's anything wrong with that. You just think you would protect your assets. They've probably got their plane sitting at the airport anyway.
Their own plane, innit?
That's what I'm saying. So they've already got it. So Levy said, what? No, you know what, mate? I ain't sending you my £1,000 in fuel. You could get your own way back. Like,
no, James, you know what's funny? If you told them, no, you have to pay for your own ticket to go to Argentina, sure, it's not right, but I wouldn't understand. But coming back, like, that's your best player. Like, don't you want to pay him and tell him, come back now?
Well, I think they were saying that because of that, he come back like 36 hours later than he should have. Whereas if they had their plane there and ready, he would have been there sort of like 2 days earlier. So that's where I think he was more him landing on sort of like the Friday, time difference Saturday, which is still fucked, and then Sunday. Not that that's any excuses, because to be honest, concentration's been dog shit for a few games, and I actually like Romero, but his concentration, if I'm honest, I can't slag Eric Dyer off for playing good for 85 minutes, having 5 minutes of shit where we concede a goal, when Romero's doing exactly the same thing. Let's be honest.
Do you know I don't defend it, and it's not a good argument, and I know Savva's gonna kill me for it. But the amount of travel this guy does, I don't blame him for being tired. 36 hours of plane, and then the next day you have to train and play a game.
Yeah,
this club
but
is not
surely no, but it happens at a lot of clubs. Right, just want to say, James Watts, thanks for the super chat, mate. Much appreciated. Go get Zidane. He's not in a job. What I'm going to do is come to the managers a bit. We know that one won't happen, but I will come to the managers soon. I mean, what do the rest of you think about Romero? Like I said, I personally think his head's already swung, and he's waiting until January or the end of the season. I think he's had enough.
Not allowed to talk about this guy. He's the centre-back version of Ange Postecoglou. He's
say what you want, mate.
He's protected at everything. He is sloppy. He's switching off. He's not marking properly. Look, the Romero we've got at Tottenham. Hello, everyone, by the way. The Romero we've got at Tottenham, it's just not the Romero they get for Argentina. And look, I don't know whether that's on Ange. I don't know whether that's on Romero. I don't know whether or not he sees us as beneath him and he's angling for a move away. But let's be fair. If you are Christian Romero and Tottenham coming to present a new contract, are you really going to sign it? I'm not. If I've got 2 years left at the end of this year, I'm saying, nah, you're all right. I'm getting my agent to ring up Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, and he surely can't see that there's anything going on here that's worth sticking around for.
So have you not been listening to Ange? I win trophies in my second season.
Yeah,
have you not been listening?
I've listened to Ange. You know what? Look, I'm live a bit later, so I can only stay for half an hour. But you know, when I like to go away and compile some facts and stats and stuff, I've compiled a lot more today that I'm going to be announcing. Look, the difference is with someone like Romero, we know it's not an ability issue. And I think that's what makes this more perplexing, right? Is some players you look at and you go, this is ability. I.e., I think like with Papasar, with Brendan Johnson, I think with Werner, these players I look at and I say, I don't think you've got it, right? You're not playing well because you're not good enough. When you look at Romero, you can't say that about Romero. We can't turn around and say this guy's not a good centre-half. We can't say that this guy's not been there, seen it and done it. But throughout his whole Tottenham career, and the reason why I never call him world-class when so many others do, he is so inconsistent. And world-class centre-halves don't switch off gamely like he does. They just don't. So for me, I think he'll be out. I really do. And I think rather than I'm not saying he's a prima donna, but rather than someone that possibly thinks they're too good for the club, I'd rather have a centre-half who's the next notch down but gives you everything every game. I'd rather a Max Kilman. I'd rather a Michael Dawson type centre-half that they are there every game. They're going to put their head on everything. They're going to mark their man properly. I don't know. This is an interesting one.
Is it fair to say that he may think, I don't want to play this centre-back / centre-mid role? Because let's be honest, if we're talking about a pure defender doing defensive things, if he drops 15, 20 yards, for me, he goes from a 6-7 every week to a 9 every week. So I think he's good there.
Agreed.
But
wouldn't you be pissed off?
Yeah. This is my whole. The amount of people I've had arguments with over James Maddison because they can't see the bigger picture. He gets the ball, he turns and he looks up, and everyone stands still. Like, how many times do you do that before you go, you know what? What's
James, I sent a video clip to Maz earlier. I don't know if I sent it to you as well, Stel. I sent a video clip earlier, and it shows James Maddison having to come to the halfway line to get the ball off of Van de Ven and Romero, right? And it shows him twice. He gets the ball, he looks up, you can see him scan, and he's like, I have not got an out ball. He does a little Cruyff turn, goes another way, and then he's like, I haven't got an out ball, plays it 10 yards to the right. James Maddison should be in the number 10 with all loads of space, and the fullbacks and the wingers should be out wide for him to. But I think the point is, if I'm Maddison, if I'm Romero, if I'm Porro, if I'm a doggy, if I'm Son, I'm pissed off. I'm not being played in my correct position. He's not getting the best out of me. I just think the guy's a PE teacher. I don't think this is a proper manager.
I just want to defend Romero just quickly. Do you remember when Gabriel just joined Arsenal? Everyone was saying, oh, he's a bozo. He always switches off. He always does like a bozo moment. But then when the team got better, they got Declan Rice, Partey, Saliba, Ben White. You saw his level elevated. I'm not defending Romero, but like, other than Van de Ven, who's good around you?
Yeah, but hang on, Detrex, sorry. That was the excuse for Romero when he had Ben Davis, Eric Dyer,
but even
Sanchez. And then I was told, hang on, we've got one of the best back fours in the league. And
I've never said that. I'll just make sure.
Detrex, I'm talking about the majority of our fan base. Is they talk about these four defenders as though they're brilliant. They talk about Bentancur like he's a world-class midfielder, right? So how can we go from, it's who he's playing with? For me, that back four should not be conceding more than 40 goals a season. If they're managed correctly.
I personally think they're, other than Van de Ven and Porro, I don't rate you, Doggy, so I'm not surprised they concede 40 goals. This team should be...
Van de Ven?
No, I'm saying other than Van de Ven and Porro.
Right, well,
even Porro's not good defensively, so yeah.
75% of a back four, right?
Yeah, but that's not enough.
75% of a back four.
Yeah, but that's not enough. If you look at Arsenal, they have Timber, Ben White. All of them are excellent defenders.
Yeah, hang on. Last year, Arsenal had the best defence in the league with Zinchenko at left back, who all Arsenal fans complained that Zinchenko wasn't a good left back. I'm sorry, I'm not going to hear that Romero isn't playing well because he's got Porro, Van de Ven, and a doggy with him. We can't change this narrative every season.
I kept the same narrative from last year. I never rated them. I never rated those fullbacks defensively. I always said they're better going forward, but defensively they don't help them. I'm saying other than Van de Ven, you don't have a pure defender.
Can I weigh in on
Go on,
this?
you've been alarmingly quiet still.
No, I've just it's because I'm busy
He's
organising.
been
a
responding to all his haters on X, isn't he? In the background.
poll. Mate. Funnily enough, no one's hating me today. Funny that. Wonder why.
Strange world, isn't it?
Kicking in, I think. No, it's because I've just put a poll out there saying, big question. Ange out has begun like it normally does with most managers under Levy. Ange is under big pressure, but it's Levy who hired manager number 18. So many fans said Ange is the last chance for Levy. All the pieces are in place now. There's no excuses. So if Ange gets sacked, do we start up the protests? I'm just going to see where everyone's at with it. Because I've had a lot of emails today saying, Stel, we want to come to the protest. Please start them up. And it's not me that organises it, but a lot of people talk and they don't turn up as well. So, but anyway, that said, I'm really, 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 really getting fed up of fans. And this is what happens. When the reality hits home with Spurs fans and the channels that were kind of warning and saying certain things like these tactics aren't sustainable, the way we set up defensively isn't right, we haven't signed quality players, Levy's done it again, Ange is a yes man. When we say these things, and we could say similar type of things when Mourinho's here, Conte, Poch, it doesn't matter who's in charge of the first team. When we say these things, and then it slowly begins to unravel, there's this kind of line that's put out there, and all the people that were against us, who kind of said these things about the managers and the chairman and whatever else is wrong with Spurs, they all jump on this line and they go with it. And the current line they're using is this, and I'm not having it. We can't sack another manager. That's what they're saying, right? This is the line they're all going to now. This is our get out of jail card. This is our excuse that we're all going to run with. They'll all jump on it, and this is how they're going to spin to defend all the nonsense they've been spouting on their channels and podcasts and journalists now covering up their tracks who said it was a great transfer window. My answer to all of them is this. Don't tell me we can't sack another manager, because this is how I see it. No manager and no chairman, Levy as well, no manager and no chairman should be at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club if they agree and they're behind the signings of Johnsons, Werners, Solomons, Velizes, Odeberts, and kids that we spent big money on that just sit on that bench. Anyone who agrees to that shouldn't manage, shouldn't coach, and shouldn't be chairman on the board of directors of any football club. That is a top 6 club. So I don't want to hear we can't sack another manager. Oh, yes, we can when we sign these kind of players that are what is going to cost Ange in the end. It's these signings that are going to cost him. We can talk about tactics. We can talk about him failing to develop players. But when push comes to shove, it's the quality we've brought in with the money spent that's going to let him down. And that is on him. It's on Lange. It's on Paratici. And it's on Daniel, Levy, and the board. So I don't want to hear we can't sack another manager. Yeah, we can, because they've mismanaged the club finances. They've mismanaged the funds that have been allocated to transfers. You can't keep people like that, because what they're going to do is next window, they're going to mismanage it again and again and again, and it won't stop. So listen, I said it 4 or 5 months ago on Tottenham TV, and I said it to Ben and Sim. I think Sim is deluded. I love him to bits. I think they're cracking boys, but you can be a good person and deluded, right? I think he is deluded, saying that these signings are good and whatnot. I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
No one can honestly believe these are good, surely.
There's a lot that did, though, Dan. When at the end of the transfer window, a lot of people said good window, good business. And I went on their channel and I said, Timo Werner was the red flag. And what followed? Odeberg. I'm sorry. Might be exciting, might be up and coming, but at Burnley, his end product was 0. And so far, it's only been a couple of games, his end product is 0. Brennan Johnson, anyone that's going to justify him, just stop supporting Tottenham. You just don't get it. Werner is a disgrace of a signing. Absolutely abysmal signing. Everyone laughs at this guy. And then as for the rest, Phillips, Bergvals, Gray, we don't play them. So how good can they be? If that was Eze, Neto, Paulinho, they're playing, man. They're starting. But no, we've got these kids. And we've got Yang coming. We've got another one coming. We've got another kid coming in January, right? Listen.
Yeah, but that's the project, isn't it? That's the process.
That's great. But when you're hemorrhaging defeats, when you can't keep a clean sheet in about 12 months, when you just can't beat a single team in the top 10, there's a rebuild, Dan, but there's got to be elements of progress that we say we can see where it's going. No fan can say we can see where it's going right now. No fan with an honest bone in their body can say, I can see where this is going. Mate, when he took off Maddison and brought on Werner, right, he lost half the stadium. I was there. I was at the ground. When he took off Maddison, the only creative mid we've got other than Bergvall, and we don't even know if Bergvall's good enough yet because he doesn't play, but when he took off Maddison and brought on Werner, the whole South stand, what the fuck is he doing? I was there. You can't justify these things, man. You can't make sense of it. And his answer after the game is, his response to that loss was not, I normally win trophies in my second season. I always win trophies in my second season. The amount of pressure he's put on himself for Wednesday night against Coventry, the pressure he's put on the team is unbelievable now. Because if we crash out of that, he's fucked. So we can get rid of another manager because we've misspent the money. And that's on Levy. He's got to go first. Lange has to go second. Ange has to go third in that order. But it's going to be the other way around. It'll be Ange that goes first because that's what our fans do. They don't go after Levy.
I disagree. And the reason I disagree is because I think all the transfer should always be on Levy. If he never come out and said what he said, every single person will be going, Levy signing, Levy signing, Levy signing. But because he did come out, did come out and say what he said, Levy's not to fault anymore. And Lange ain't a fault anymore because he's taken all that responsibility on himself by saying,
but Levy hired them though, James. But Levy hired them.
Yeah, I know. But that's for me and you. We agree that. Me and you agree that because we both want Levy out. But to the neutral and to the wet wipes and to the flip flops, he's taken all that responsibility off Levy by saying these are my players. I wanted these guys. So therefore, if you don't judge Levy on the 24 years, you judge him on this year.
I disagree because the flip flops, the wet wipes, and the wishy-washy fans, they also said, even I'll be Levy out if it doesn't work with Ange.
Yeah, but they're flip flops and wet wipes.
Well, I'm gonna call them all out.
You're holding them to their words.
I've got all the video clips. I've been building it up for 2 years. I will, as Alex says, I will unleash. I will unleash.
Back to you, Dan. I'm done.
Back to you, Dan. We're done.
Don't forget we have the fan forum soon. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
We all know the problem is Levy. I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, there's still some out there who believe he's not the problem.
Ange has enabled it.
The football side.
Ange has enabled
what Ange has done, I know that all those can't. Surely they can't all be his picking. Surely not. But as all I've done through all of this is hold a man to his word. And to me, that's actually showing him a bit of common courtesy. Because if I was to stand there and just say he's chatting shit from day one, that's disrespectful, isn't it? And people have been saying to me, show respect to him. Well, no, if he wants respect, he's got to earn respect. But common courtesy, I hold a man to his word.
Hang on.
He's gone and said he shot himself.
I've been the Levy thing though. Hang on, we've got to talk about this cautiously because I fail to believe in any way, shape, or form that Daniel Levy has said you've got to buy Odegaard. Right? I fail to believe that he has said
agree.
You have got to buy Archie Gray, right? So if Daniel Levy is sanctioning £65 million, 57, Ian will tell us off. If he's sanctioning £57 million for Solanke, 30 million for Odegaard, 40 million for Archie Gray, I fail to believe in any way, shape, or form that Daniel Levy has turned around and said, you must sign these players. I have got no doubt Daniel Levy has no idea who Odegaard is, who Bergvall is, right? If we're spending 60 million here, 40 million there, 30 million there, how on earth do we think that he's saying, right, I'm going to sign off on 57 million, but it must be Solanke? For me, this goes down to a bigger issue. And yes, I know what Stel's going to, I can predict Stel already. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, Stel. Stel's going to say, he hired them. Yeah, he hired them. But this, for me, goes down to the manager and scouts between them, their poor recruitment. Because there's no way Daniel Levy's going to rock up one day and go, "Hi, guys, Dominic Solanke, is that the guy you want?" Daniel Levy, if he had his way, he'd have a £20 million striker. So, listen, I'm not absolving Levy of blame, but if he's signing off on Richarlison at 60 million, Ndombele at 65 million, that for me is a scouting issue that we haven't got better for that same price.
But Savva, two things on this, right? Number one, it's the owners. It's the job of any owner to put in the systems and processes of the businesses so they function well. So the marketing department, the sales department, the legal department, and the footballing department, right? So you're right in what you say, but ultimately any business, it's the boss that's supposed to put together a recruitment team that does get it right. And we seem to get it wrong every single year.
I don't disagree with that still. I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
We agree on that. We agree on that.
We agree.
The second thing, I just kind of feel after 25 years of running this club, he's had more time than any chairman of any Premier League club in history. This is the longest. I kind of think, as the football fan he claims, I've supported Tottenham ever since I was all that nonsense, that he, as the owner, could go knock on Lange's door, go knock on Paratici's door and Ange's door and say, "Guys, we don't win anything at this football club." And do you know what? I look at the winners and they've got De Bruyne, they've got Rodri, they've got Ederson, they've got Haaland. Should we sign some of those players as well? Because we used to have Modric, Bale, Kane. Should we go and buy some of them? Because Eze was in the club last season. He had him and his agents were in one of our boxes. Everyone says he's quite good. What do you think? Should we go and sign, I don't know, Gyökeres? Because he seems to be really good from what I understand. Surely he's got a bit of nous about him to know that there's some special or high quality players out there that we could get, and he should tell Lange and Paratici. Is that happening at our club?
No. But
is he saying, "I like Odegaard, but he's young. I'll sanction that because we might sell him for 60 million in 4 years if he's good, right?"
But are you telling me then? Are you telling me that our scouts? Look, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think we're on the same page, but we'll probably meet in the middle somewhere, right? And I can see Maz in the chat going, "It's nonsense, it's Levy." I doubt Daniel Levy is scouting Odegaard, right? Let's be brutally honest.
You're right. I agree. He's not.
Our scouts. My question is, if I gave you boys, like if I said to you, I think this would be a hilarious trip, by the way. If I said, right, James, Detrex, Dan, Stel, we're all jumping on a plane tomorrow. We're going to go around to 12 different countries. We're going to watch 20 games in each country. And you've all got to pick your best winger who's going to be 30 million or less, right? I think it would be a bloody good road trip. But we'd all find wingers for 30 million or less that are better than Odegaard, right?
And Johnson.
It wouldn't exactly be a hard job.
Right? But the Johnson thing still goes against the narrative that Levy's picking them, because I fail to believe that our scouts, can't go, right, we've got 50 million to spend on a right-sided winger come forward. Who are you getting? Oh, it's going to be Brennan Johnson. I fail to believe that that's the best that they could come up with. If it is the best they could come up with, then Levy's at fault for hiring the director of football and the scouts. But he's spent money, and, he's sanctioned some big deals. He's sanctioned some very big deals. Why didn't we go for a
We've mismanaged money, Savva. We've mismanaged it.
I agree. Again, but why didn't we, for example, go for Artem Dovbyk, £25 million, probably
because we use data. Because we use data. We use data. That's why.
Right. Okay. So if
we sacked Pleat, who does the eye test, so maybe that's the problem. We're going by spreadsheets on everything.
I just don't think it's as simple as blaming Levy for. Listen, I can blame Levy for.
Savva, I'm not blaming him, but I put him as the biggest problem because it always happens under his watch. We've been through this. How many times another manager is going to come unstuck? The manager's not flawless. We've discussed his tactics stink. The inverted fullback stinks. Our inability to defend stinks. There's so much that Ange is getting wrong. But every manager comes to Spurs who've won everywhere else. They come here and they literally implode.
But don't you think the problem is, Stel? Let me ask you this.
Implodes at this club.
Let me ask you guys this. I need to jump in 5 minutes, but let me ask you this, right? For me, and bear with me, guys. For me, this manager's had what, 300 and I've seen the numbers range from about 360 to 400 million, right? Somewhere in that range, which is a lot of money, right? In 14 months. We agree? That's a lot of money for any football club in 14 months, right? Now, if we had got a manager in, bear with me, if we had got a manager in, just a sensible manager, not negative Conte, not gung-ho Ange, but a sensible manager, a Thomas Frank, an Eddie Howe, right? If we had got somebody in, somebody that is used to working with players and upskilling them and making them better and creating team unity, and they were given 360 to 400 million pounds, are we not saying that person would have done better than what Ange is doing? Because the players we've got, we should never be. We're 9th in the form table for the last 32 games. 9th, right? In the last 32 games, guys, we've got 6 more points than Everton, who we all described as the worst team we've seen come to White Hart Lane.
That's shocking, that is.
Right?
In
that time, right? In that time, with my pad full of stats, in that time, we've got 4 more points than Fulham. Fulham, whose striker is what? Rodrigo Muniz. They've bought players, what? Willian's 412. They've bought what? Iwobi. They lose players every year.
I would swap their whole front three for our front three. Our front three shit.
I agree, James. In that
agree,
time,
James. They're so bad.
Are we better than West Ham?
No.
Are we better than West Ham?
No, I'm not even joking. We're not.
So in the last 32 games, again, I use the 32 games because it shows the drop off after his run of form, right? We've got 2 more points than West Ham, who sacked David Moyes and went for a new manager.
I mean, Savva, when Redknapp was there, who signed Saha Nelson? Surely that one was down to Levy, wasn't it?
Mate, well, we're going back a long time now. Look,
I know, but he does do it, is what I'm saying.
Sure, but who was putting that opportunity in front of him at the time? That would be the question, right? Because the way it would work, the way it would work would be somebody's presenting to the director of football or their agents ringing up the club and going, listen, Louis Saha's available, Ryan Nelson's available, what do you think? And then Daniel Levy and Redknapp, whatever, have to make the decision, yeah, I could do with this person, yeah, no, I don't. But, mate, I fail to believe that someone like an Eddie Howe, who upskills players, and I think we can all agree on that, right? What he's done with people like Fabian Schär, yeah, Yo Linton, Willock, Murphy, right? Lewis Hall. If we had a manager like that who had 360 million spend, I think right now we're sitting as a club that are favourites for top 4. But this manager is the problem right now.
But actually,
let me just do the super chat quick. A user, thanks a lot, mate. It's appreciated.
I need to go.
We are fucked. Take care, mate. See you later.
Pick up, Savva.
Bye.
We are
your brother.
Levy just don't care. He wants an empire. I totally agree with you, mate. That is, it's true. But I do struggle to think that Daniel Levy was happy with getting Archie Gray, thinking he's going to make money out of him by paying 40 million for him. I must admit, I do struggle on that one. I said that last night. You
have another super chat.
I spoke to my father-in-law, and he's an accountant for basically the medical industry, like the top-selling, meddling industry. So he works with sort of billions of pounds daily. And we was talking about Tottenham, and he said, to be honest, mate, what he's done is he's cleaned the books out completely. A net spend of about 50 to 70 million, I think we did this summer. He said it's almost like he's trying to clean the books to either bring somebody in to invest money somewhere else, or he's trying to wipe the slate clean and leave. And then when he said that, I thought, yeah, the hotel, isn't it? He's trying to bring in get rid of as much debt as possible, i.e. players' wages, players, to free up money so he looks like a better prospect, so he can almost like borrow more money to invest in elsewhere. So from what he was saying, it's like he's done the perfect strategy now to start investing all his money in the hotels, get someone else in for buyers for the hotels.
Well, that was obvious what he was going to do. And a user, thanks again, mate. Much appreciated. We keep changing the battery, change the alternator. Yeah, but we just know that's not going to happen, don't we? But thanks a lot, mate. You're right. You are right. Sorry, James. Go back to what you're saying, mate.
Yeah, I just think that we're at that point now where, you know, I don't even think he gives a shit anymore. I think he's like, well, they know I'm here for the money. I'm going to take as much money as I can. Whatever happens, happens. Like I said the other day, if he saved 42 million on wages, that's the same sort of money you get for qualifying for Champions League anyway. So he hasn't lost anything by not qualifying for the Champions League. He's saving that money on a yearly basis.
No. I disagree with that, yeah, because the way a true businessman looks at things, yeah, is if he could make, say, for instance, he makes, let's say, 20 million, random number, yeah, he's made that 20 million.
Well, how much do you get for qualifying and finishing the top four?
Let me finish. If he's made that 20 million, he's made that 20 million. He succeeded. But if he could have made 30 million and he only made 20 million, a true businessman would look on himself as a failure for doing that. And that's the sort of person Daniel Levy is. He's not the sort of one that would be like, well, I've got this money, I'll be happy with that. No, he's a businessman cold to the bone through and through. He wants that 40 million. He wants that 60. He wants that 70. There is no way I will believe a true businessman like Levy is going to be, well, fine, I'm saving this money, that and that. I'm getting 20, 30 million out of it. I'll be happy with that. No, he wants more. He wants more. He wants more. That is what a real businessman, a good businessman, does. And whether we like it or not, he is a good businessman. Apart from that, see you next Tuesday. We all know that one. But no, I can't agree with you on that one because he's a true businessman. He'll always want more. He'll want so that 20 million and the Champions League money.
Okay. Well, I think I can debunk that. Oh, he's a good businessman. Name one player or asset he bought and made a profit on.
Yeah, and then Gareth Bale. But if you want to be honest with him on that aspect, look at what he's done with Spurs. He's turned them into a 300,000 club to the seventh richest club in the planet. He's a good businessman through and through, whether we like it or not. On the money side, Spurs are only that big in the world because we have that much money.
But like we're saying, if he is a good businessman, we've spent 400 million and those players are worth 50 million. That sounds like 350 million wasted. That's not good business.
No, I get that. On the football side of it, he's absolutely fucking awful. But on every other side of it, he wins, hands down. For the money side of it, you can't. But I agree with what you're saying, but a true businessman always wants more. If there was more to get and he didn't get it, a true businessman looks on it like he's failed.
I've just searched it. Yeah, how much do you get for getting top four in the Premier League? Your estimated is between 2.7 million and 3.3 million. The guy has just saved 42 million pound a year on wages.
But the money you would get for getting in the Champions League and the money you would get from the Champions League games and the revenue and everything, he's losing a lot. He wants that as well.
Champions League brings you minimum 60 to 70 million just group stages. And the further you get, you can go up to, I think it's 150. So there's
we went up to about 128 or something, wasn't it, that year? We had something like 130 million, basically. So
if we won it, we would have. And if you win it, the merch sales off the back of winning, because everyone will want that. That Champions League winning jersey. Yeah, and then the new fans you gain as well, signing up memberships and Spurs play. That's how Man City and Chelsea grew, by winning trophies. New fans around the world want to support them.
But
he feels
money. I tucked it in here. If you get to just prize money, if you get to the semi-finals, literally just prize money is 15.5 million.
That's on top of the money before that, all the other rounds.
And Carabao Cup.
And Champions League tickets are more expensive than all the other tickets.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he ain't miles off, though, is he? By dropping them 45 million in wages to actually qualifying for Europe. He ain't that far off. He's not. He's probably thought, well, if I ain't going to get semis, I might as well fucking shut up shop and get my money back. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah, and James, if you look at a lot of our signings, I guarantee you, most of the wages will be low for these players. So maybe we spent 50 million on Brennan Johnson, but maybe we saved 25 million on wages for someone else. So that needs to be factored in. Also, the structure of the deal. Over how many years and how much per year are we paying? Whereas other clubs, they might not sell like Eze. I know Crystal Palace were never going to let Eze go unless 75% or something like that of the money was paid up front. We don't want instalment plans from you, Tottenham. Give us most of the money up front. You can pay the last bit over 3 years. Levy he's not going to want those deals. He's not going to want to just tie up all the cash in someone else's bank account. And don't forget as well, there's covenants in place. So a lot of our loans for the stadium are subject to us having cash in the bank. So if you go and spend the cash that we do have or the cash coming in on signings, well, now you're breaking the covenants that allows us to pay off our debts yearly over 25 years. You've got to show that there's money that's
I think we have something like
if something goes wrong, the banks know they can cash in some of their money.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I think we have about 300 over million, right, in covenants in the previous financial reports.
Spurs owe a lot of money on transfers in the past. Something like over 200 million pounds we owe. That's a lot. That's debt owed on transfers.
That's what I've been saying. We don't.
It's like what the sheriff has said here. We are now basically a mid-table team.
Well, actually, we're below. We're 13th.
You're negative. Yeah. You're absolutely so negative.
We're 13th, mate.
That's so negative.
I'm sure we'll move up the league table, but the problem is, what's going to be acceptable? Is 8th or 9th at the end of the season?
Are you sure? Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. No, I'm not.
Receipt. Someone click that.
Guys, imagine we dropped down to 18, right? Like it was like during the one day Ramos days. The total collapse.
I don't think you'll get that bad. You never know. You never know with Spurs. You never know.
I know it's quite bad to say, but I would almost like to lose the next 2 Premier League games and see what the board do or say. Are they going to come out and say, "This is my guy. I'm sticking with him through the tough," or is he just going to pull the trigger?
James, did you see Fabrizio's tweet?
We know what they're going to do, man. They're going to pull.
No, he just said about Ange. Even though it doesn't matter the results, Spurs are going to back Ange till the end.
Oh, really?
Because around him, that's what
we're all going to die on that hill, right? And the hill's called
Romero is one of the biggest flip-flops in the business. Don't take anything he says. He's the same guy that said Spurs, Gareth Bale going back to Spurs, highly unlikely, very difficult to do, not really going to happen. 2 weeks later, we signed Gareth Bale. He also said in that same window, I'll never forget this, he goes, Spurs will sign maybe 2 players, possibly 3. We signed 7. Right? He makes it up as he goes along, this guy. He covers all his bases.
He gets information off his wife, doesn't he? I mean, my mate Dave can't stand the fella. He wants to do a show on him.
All of them, all these journalists, all these ITKs, they make it up as they go along. They all said we're going to sign Eze, Gallagher, first choice coming Spurs. We're looking at Tony.
We were linked to Gallagher in January. Guys, remember?
They make it up as they go along.
I was gonna ask what everyone's opinions on Son was, because listen, I was here a month ago telling everyone he's washed. Everyone said no. Washed.
He's not washed completely.
He's not washed.
He's not completely.
He's fucking shit. He's shit. I'm sorry, he's done.
Yous all know. I rate Son, but I've never said he's world class, and I've had debates over it. The only world class thing about him was his finishing, but good player, very good player. I think he's done on the left. I do not think he is completely washed as a player overall. That is where I think you come across wrong. He's not washed completely as a player.
Washed. I'm not having it. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. People say
so he's not good enough to play football anymore.
He's not good enough for the Premier League, for the top of the Premier League. No. For me, people say about him playing up front. So he's not
completely washed as a player then?
Well, no, not washed. But as in for Tottenham, he ain't good enough for Tottenham anymore. He ain't good enough for the top 6, top 8 teams.
that's more how you need to put it across, because the way you put it across is like he's fucked, he's done. He's
Yeah,
done.
But
fucking
James, the problem we have Werner, we have Odegaard, Johnson. Like, there's so many
but
worse
that's,
players. I think
that's
for me,
not
if
what
you
I'm
told me we're
judging
gonna,
Son on.
no, I'm not judging Son on this. I don't think Son has been playing well, and I think he's done at Spurs. But the issue is that unless we sell all of the forwards, selling Son right now makes no sense.
No, I agree with you. I do agree. Unfortunately, he's our best left winger. He is our best left winger. But that doesn't mean that he's very good, because Johnson is probably our best right winger. That's not me saying that he's very good either. But for me, how I was going to say, a lot of people say Son would be good as a striker. And don't get me wrong, Brennan Johnson got a lot of criticism for that ball that he played along on the 6-yard box. Everyone said, why has he just smashed it across the 6-yard box? But in fairness to him, every day in training, every training video we see, they say 6-yard box, along the 6-yard box, along the 6-yard box. Son's up front. Why is he not waiting there? He knows what we're going to do. He knows what the routine is, and yet he stands on the edge of the box thinking, I'll just stand here. For me, if you're a goal scorer, you make those goal scoring opportunities and those runs, and he doesn't do that as a striker. So for me personally, he needs to now either go back to Korea, go and be like a legend, not that's his level, but be an absolute legend, or go to a league that's a lot slower.
Do you reckon he's actually killing his name at Spurs?
Hold on, guys.
Do you think he's killing his name there?
Yeah.
Yang is coming in January, right? If Yang can take over the mantle, right? Don't worry, Son will be gone soon. Don't forget, we got another 18-year-old coming in from South Korea.
No, they'll keep them both together. They'll keep them both together.
Sure, I'll say Son wasn't good last year, but I really think the captaincy is killing him this year.
I would go as far and say that Son wasn't good last year. He scored the chances that he should score. Let's not be honest. Look, we created. How many chances did he miss? How many created chances did we create? If people actually take the fact that his name is Son and what he has done, listen, it's one of the best left wingers I've ever seen at Tottenham. He is, regardless of what you say, he is. But we no longer have a Harry Kane. We no longer have that formation where we let him drop off, turn, and play a through ball. Sell our best player. Mate, you're a clown if you think he's better than Van der Ven. You're mental. You are absolutely mental. If you let go of the actual love for the player, you'll understand. When Man City sell players, did they sell Mahrez when he was 32 and passed it? No. They get their big check and then they reimburse it in someone like Grealish. Watch, Grealish will be sold in a season or two and then they'll reinvest that. De Bruyne will be sold and then they'll reinvest that. They sold two guys that went to Arsenal. They reinvest that. Not Spurs. What we do is we keep our good players, our legends, until they're over the hill. Fans then turn on them. Then they become villains within 2 seasons.
There's a difference, though.
I understand what you're saying, right?
There's a difference. Look at the money he brings into the club as well. That's the
difference. I'm talking as a football fan. I'm talking as a football fan. I'm not talking about Daniel Levy's business pocket. I'm talking of, for me, on that pitch, people slated Johnson this weekend. Let's be honest, Johnson did more than Son did this weekend. He had 2 shots on goal and we delivered 2 balls into the box. Son did none of that. So if we're going to criticise Johnson, which is correct, Johnson is crap, you then have to look at Son and cover him with the same brush.
I do. I just don't think he's completely washed as a player. That's all.
I don't think he's completely washed. But I understand what James is saying, right? If we are ruthless and we want to progress as a club that goes on, right, we should do what you say, right? Like Alex Ferguson get rid of players that he needs to get rid. Pep gets rid of players that he needs to get rid. But we are not that club. We've kept Ben Davies here for 10 years. Think about it.
The only way Son stays at this club for me is if Ange gives him another 3-4 year contract and we say, right, look, you're going to be our last 20-30 minute sub. You're going to come on with those fresh legs, hit a few 30-yarders, get in behind, cause problems. Then I think, yeah, okay, you know what, fair enough. But to start him week in and week out, the guy goes missing. Yeah. For me, it's what it is.
He's a player you're very frustrated with.
Dan, I have to go.
Oh, mate, take care of yourself.
I just want to say one thing on this, like literally 2 seconds. I stick to what I said before. You can't play Solanke striker, Son on the left. It's not going to work with them two in that combination. Son's best position now is to be the striker, but if you do that, you've got a problem with Solanke because he can only sit on the bench. Son Solanke doesn't work unless we go to 3-5-2. I don't care what we do anymore with them two. It doesn't bother me. I don't think it's going to work either way.
Can I ask you one question then? Would you drop Solanke or drop Richarlison and force one up front?
Yeah, I would. Because Son has
You
proven
would?
he's the most only because he's the most clinical finisher we've got. It's the only reason.
He's our only
Okay.
chance.
Do I think we James, there was no contingency plan, right? Because it's such a difficult one. There was no contingency plan for when Kane left, right? We thought Richarlison would be the answer. Now we think Solanke is. Bollocks. There's no contingency plan for Son. Maybe Yang is the answer. I doubt it. He's a kid. There's no proof. There's no contingency plan for Son. So you're left with 3 players. Richarlison's not a Kane replacement. Solanke's not a Kane replacement. There is no replacement for Son. The Son replacement is Son because he's still here. So you've got 3 players whose best position is the number 9. What do you do when you play with the front 3?
It's true.
That's it. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.
Right,
Come on,
Take
you
care.
Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
That was so happy. That's so good to see.
Right. The point I want to get to, I mean, I've only got about 15 minutes left because, again, wife needs the kitchen and I'm bloody hungry as well. I've gone through the managers and the manager I would want personally is the Sporting Lisbon manager. What's his name? Ruben Amorim or something like.
I wanted him before Ange. Yeah, I wanted him before Ange.
Yeah, but the chances of that happening, who knows? Maybe he wants to come to the Premiership. Maybe would he risk his whole career by coming to Spurs?
Plays Free at the back. Plays Porro right wing back.
Yeah,
Guys, okay.
And then, hang on a sec, Eugene, hang on. And then for me, we've got Thomas Tuchel. I think he's the obvious one we go for at the moment. He's free. I don't think it cost an arm and leg to get him in there, and I think he'd be more than willing to come in and do what Conte done to an extent, is get a couple of million in his back pocket and then leave at the end of the season, whatever. But I do believe he's got the ability to save our season as such. Then who else have we got? Savva. He's free.
Brentford manager, Thomas Frank.
Yeah, that's another one we could look at. I mean, there's Potter. I know a lot of people don't rate Potter, but do I think he's any worse than Ange? I don't think he's worse than Ange. I think he'd be able to adapt this team better than Ange. Other one you got is the ex-Porto manager, Sergio Conceo, however you pronounce his fucking name. And they're about the only ones I can actually find because I don't want to go for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Detrex, you said you want winners, right? Would you take Claudio Ranieri?
Honestly, I would take... No, do you know who I would take? I would take the Atalanta manager Gasperini that just won the Europa League.
Yeah.
I would take Thomas Tuchel because he's going to play 3 at the back and he's not the Prems and he won the Champions League.
Plays terrible football, though.
It doesn't matter. At least we have the team to play terrible football.
Agreed.
That's the problem.
I agree.
Right?
And for me, those are the managers I want to see. And what's his name? The Inter manager, Inzaghi. That one. If you don't play 3 at the back, I don't want to see you. Thomas Frank, I know people are going to say he did a good job. For me, he's not ready to manage with Levy. Other 3, they have the experience. They know how to win. They have the arrogance. Frank, I know he's going to be another Ange.
Guys, I got one thing to say, right? No quality manager, right, in their right mind, right, will come to Tottenham Hotspur unless your salary is something like 20 million euros per annum, right, to touch this club, because you have to go through the stress of the fans going crazy on you while your owners are liars, right? Conte has already spilled the beans. Who's going to touch us?
I think you're looking at that. I think you're looking at that from a fan's point of view.
Yeah,
if I was a manager coming, if I was a manager looking in, and they said, right, you're on this amount of money, I'd know I've got a season or 2 before I'm fired. So you come here 2 years and you're guaranteed £5 million for a couple of years.
He's going to do it.
Because managers like...
I just want to get to a point on here. Hang on. I just want to get to a point here. Fuck off negative Spurs fans. Might as well say Savva named manager since you are all followers, all sheep. If you say so, mate. I was saying all this before Savva came back on here, and I was saying this 9 months ago. Other people were saying it as well. If that's your attitude with it, fine, fair enough. But we all know, I'll put it polite, you can go full for multiply. Look at where the negative Spurs fans are now. We're the ones who got it right, not that we wanted to. And all the positive ones are now turning into what you call a negative one. So, mate, if you don't like it, fuck off. Anyway, carry on.
I actually said, and you know this, mate. I mean, you've had loads of debates over this. I actually say Ange in, Levy out. That's what I say. So to be negative, I'm saying listen. Yeah, I think Ange could. Listen, I think if Ange was employed by Man City, I still think Man City will be top 2 and pushing for the league.
No,
I think they'll concede a lot more and they'll struggle a lot more. But I think that they would definitely still be up there. The players they've got. When you look at our midfield and our defenders. We give the ball away every other pass. Man City have the players to not do that.
Do you realize? Actually, no, it's gonna sound crazy, but if you said Ange is gonna go to City, I think they're gonna finish mid-table. Because I'll tell you why. If you go player by player, we have better defenders than City at the moment in time. No, I'm just saying. Because what's his name? Diaz. Diaz is the most overrated center back in the league. Not good enough. Stones plays as a center mid. Akanji, sure, he's the only good defender they have at the moment.
They've been champions 4 times in a row.
They're champions. Do you know why they're champions? Because they have the best team and everyone is doing their job.
I know,
but if you're talking player by player, they don't have the best team.
We need Ange to go to Man City after Pep leaves.
Yeah. Detrex, shut up.
No, honestly, do you know
you're ruining it, bro? We need him to go there. You're ruining it.
For me on this one, VV, he's not overrated. I don't think
he's not overrated, but no, he's overrated by Spurs fans.
Overrated, but he's not perfect. All right.
No, but Spurs fans is overrated.
Yeah, well, Yeah, exactly, Detrex. What I would say is, tell me one player that ain't overrated by a Spurs fan.
They ain't overrated by Spurs fan. Actually,
everyone they put all their.
Johnson.
I've seen good midfielders play football, and Bentancur is okay, but he doesn't have a touch on the likes of Michael Carrick, Luka Modric, Van der Vaart, all of these players. But yet you will only hear our fans going, "Yep, top."
Under Conte, for me, he was. I'm not saying he was world class, but he was playing as a world class form.
I agree. Listen, I think Bentancur was fantastic. I still think he's fantastic.
Only managers like Conte and Allegri knew how to use Bentancur. Ange doesn't know how to use him to his best potential, and this is why
Ange doesn't know how to use Son. Ange doesn't know how to use Bentancur.
Ange doesn't know how to use Udogie, Porro.
Udogie doesn't matter who comes. Udogie for me needs to be sold. I don't think he's ready. I don't think Spurs or the Premier League, and even on his head, I don't think he's good enough.
I think
it's like Reguilon. It's like Reguilon. It's like Reguilon. When he started at Spurs, everyone was saying, "Oh, he's good. Madrid sold us one of their gems, and now we don't want him." It's gonna be the same thing with Udogie.
But Reguilon is registered, right?
He's registered, but he doesn't have a squad number.
No,
that's weird.
And you're hardly gonna see.
That's like a slap in the face, guy. You're registered, but you don't have a squad number.
Going back to the point, because I've only got 10 minutes left. What manager do we go for then? If Ange goes, we all know that Ryan Mason's going to pop in for a bit, unless Levy has this good plan, which over the past 2 managers he really fucking hasn't. So what manager do we go for then? That is what I'm saying. On where do we go now?
Brought-in managers who are. I wanted him before Ange. Yeah. I actually want Ange to stay. To be honest, I want him to be given a full crack at the whip. I actually want to see what happens in the next 2 transfer windows. Because for me, you've bulked the squad out with kids. Now you have you've never had any excuse, but now you have no excuse not to start whacking in the top quality players.
But we're not going to get anyone in January because
the
Korean guy is going to be like a new signing, so one. And who else are we going to get? Nobody sells in January their best assets.
It depends how far we are in the Europa League, I guess. So, yeah.
I'm telling you this right now, we're not getting out of the group stage. under Ange.
We might not.
We're not.
Not under Ange, I'm starting to struggle that we're going to get anywhere because I think this is all just going to go down.
We're going to
downhill
get
even
kicked
further.
out of the Europa League
Haven't-
under Ange.
Haven't we got Galatasaray away and Rangers away?
Yeah, but you
I
have
think Rangers, look at
Galatasaray.
Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah, but
gonna
away,
play-
man. Away.
But
They're games for big boys. They're games for a bit of cojones. They're games in the stadiums that you need your players to stand up with. Galatasaray away, their fans, even if they're not very good, their fans are going to let you know that they're there.
Their,
Rangers
fans, their
away.
fans are a 12th player.
Right? Yeah. No, I would even go to the fact of their 13th and 14th player, and it's the same
agree.
with Rangers. Rangers is going to be the same. People going, "Oh yeah, they're easy games." I agree, but their fans are going to make that a very hostile place. And we've got players like Son, our captain. I don't even see him talking to the players. I don't even see him saying anything. I just see him head down like a headless chicken now. Same with Maddison, to be fair. I've seen him trying, but I don't hear him talking. Romero looks like he wants to leave. They're
And,
the games you need your captains.
And we play against in the Europa League on October
Yeah,
8th at
and
Alkmaar.
There are no group stages now.
Troy
We're all playing
Pirates.
Yeah.
Watch Troy Pirates going to score 2 goals against us.
I say we could have kept him. Sold Richarlison.
Mate, nothing would surprise me. So to finish this off, then, like I said, I've got to go.
Yep.
Who's the manager you pick, Eugene, that we actually go for realistically could get?
When you
I mean, if Ange,
so quick question: when you say realistically, do you mean like he's available, or are we gonna bring him from another club right now? If he
We
gets
could
signed?
actually get him. Realistically,
Okay.
who would you want? I mean, if we was all to go for anything, like there's plenty of managers out there. I'd love
Even
to get
though the
Leverkusen manager, but one that you think we could realistically get.
realistically, the choices are very simple, right? Managers who are not in a job now. So you have a list of them: Potter, Tuchel. Of course, I don't know if we are like somewhere in 17th, 18th. Maybe we'll bring Tuchel in because Levy wants to get up that to the European spots, right? But if we are, hovering around in the mid-table, maybe we'll be a bit more ambitious. But I doubt it because, like I said before, who wants to come in? But if for me, realistically, I think it'll be Tuchel. If Ange gets sacked somewhere in the mid-table or lower down, emergency time, right?
So who was that you go for?
Yeah, but guys, I just have to remind you guys, right? I think Ange ain't going anywhere because he is a deflection and distraction, right? Taking away the focus away from Daniel Levy and his
Steven Gerrard.
his deals going behind trying to build that hotel. So yeah, it is what it is. But I don't know if it happens. He wins us the trophy this season. All of us will be yay.
If he wins us a trophy, I'll actually be happy because we
Yeah,
got a fucking
well,
trophy.
yeah, right.
But he's not going to get the time to do that. He's not going to get that far to do that. That's
Dan,
the thing now.
It's a chance.
I always win a trophy in my second season.
There you
Yeah.
go. But he's not gonna get a chance to do that. So
No.
who would you go for, James? Who you could honestly think we could actually get?
Sporting Lisbon guy.
And you reckon we could actually drag him out of Sporting?
I think the money that Sporting are paying him in comparison, yes, but purely on a money basis, I think we could get him. Yeah.
James, are Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League?
Yes,
Oh,
they won the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So if in the
But-
Champions League, I don't think he'll leave. Unless-
so you're telling me he'd pick that over a big money opportunity?
Yes,
They're-
because
Money
he's
they're
not
does-
leaving.
Money does
Arnie
talk.
Scott did that to us.
I'll give my options. It's simple. The Sporting guy is not leaving Sporting in the middle of the season. He's not the type of person to do that. Realistic options, Tuchel, and someone said Harry Redknapp. That's a good shout to steady the ship.
There are a lot of people
But if you
calling
say
him
my
Zidane, right?
dream, my dream, it would be Gasperini from Atalanta.
He's at Atalanta.
Good call.
Why would he leave Atalanta? They're playing Arsenal tomorrow, guys.
No, after
Yeah.
like in the summer. Like in
Oh,
the
in the
summer,
summer.
I would take him.
Oh, by then in the summer we'll be in the championship.
I mean, realistically, I think we could get hold of the Sporting Lisbon manager, depending on how money orientated he is. But for a career move, we all know going to Spurs is just like blood wine. Basically, it's just your career. It can totally fuck you right over unless you are as big as Conte or Mourinho. Realistically, for me at the moment, it's got to be Thomas Tuchel because I think we could get him if we offer him a bit of money, I think he'd quite happily at least come and do what a Conte did, and I think he could
To do 18 months
fix
for
us. Yeah, I think I'm not saying he's a ideal long time, whatever, but I think he could fix our season for us.
For one
and get
season,
this
he's
team playing.
perfect.
Yeah, I think he could get us working 10 times better than what Ange does.
Yeah, but what would Klopp come to this?
So, right, with that one, I've got to go. And Detrex, where do we catch you? Here, there, and everywhere as usual?
Yeah, everywhere. But honestly, it's getting the same talk, so I think I'm gonna lay back soon.
I mean, this was why I wanted to bring up, like, what manager do we actually go for now?
Yeah.
Because Ange going is inevitable as far as I'm concerned. I might be wrong, but I really don't think I am.
Last question. Do you really think after, let's say if we get kicked out against Coventry, do you really think he might get the sack?
Yes.
Nah, he won't get the sack. He won't.
He's
leaving his PR machine now. The deflection. He won't get the sack, bro.
Okay, if we lose against Coventry and Brentford.
Nah, he won't get the sack too.
No. I'm sorry. 25 years of history says otherwise. We'll have to wait and see with that one, Eugene. But 25 years says otherwise. So, James, where do we catch you?
Yeah, mate. I'm always here if you need me, mate. On here, Tottenham on Tour, Bell's channel, wherever. I'm always in the chats.
And Eugene?
I think I'll be doing a show on Wednesday, right? With some, local Asian or Malaysian Spurs fans and some Asian fans from India and all that, doing the Arsenal part. So, and maybe some Newcastle fans and all that. But any of you guys free want to join in, let me know, right?
Okay, we'll do. Right.
Spurs Vision easy, don't forget, right? Yeah.
Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for people coming on and watching. Give us a quick like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. Don't ask for it much. Half time I even forget to ask about it at the end. If you carry on watching something, go over to Savva's show. He's having a good chat with Kuva. And well, as it is now for me, Ange out. See you later.